All right, moments ago, new consumer confidence numbers were released for the month of May, and it comes on the heels of an April report that showed Americans' confidence in the economy had dropped to its lowest level not seen since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. And you're looking at the Dow Jones Industrial Average up 400 points so far this morning. Joining us now to look at the entire picture here in Studio 55 is CBS News Money Watch correspondent Kelly O'Grady. Welcome back into the mix.
Thank you.
Great to see you. We've got some green on the board for a few moments, but help us understand the bigger picture. Break down the report that just was released and how it compares to what we've seen in months past.
So normally I come bearing bad news, Errol, it feels like, but we actually got some really good news about the consumer and how they feel about the economy. Okay. So the consumer confidence, it measures how people feel about their savings, the future economic expectations, the job market. We saw a big increase, a big beat. We were expecting a number around 86. We got 98. What that basically means is anything above 100 is positive. Okay. So we're still negative, but it's much better than people felt. And the expectations index also saw a big increase as well. So people are feeling better. Notably, a lot of the survey responses in this month's report came after that May 12th date. That's very important because that's when we saw the pullback with China, that they were coming to the table and saying, hey, we think a deal is going to get done. We're going to pause a lot of these tariffs. So what this tells me is consumers are looking at the data, that they're seeing the headlines, what's happening with the stock market, and they're feeling better. And I will note, we always wonder how consumer confidence is going to impact consumer spending. Are people going to pull back? There was some data in this month's report that said people are actually planning now. They put aside money for big ticket items like appliances, cars, vacation homes. But very important, that was split by income group. People making above $125,000 felt more comfortable about spending. People below that said that they actually dipped into their savings.
Which makes sense. You know, I always say that it depends where you are in the economy, depending on how you're viewing, various changes in the news. So I appreciate that you have some encouraging news for us today. But you've also noted previously that sometimes there's a disconnect between what people say about what they'll do and what they actually do. So what does all of this suggest for the next few months and the rest of the year, really? I mean, we know that the tariff question is an open one, but what does this mean then?
Yeah, so the fact, the EU tariffs, right, there's just been a lot of back and forth even over the past weekend. I think what that tells you is all of these little movements, whether it be coming to the table with China, whether it be, oh, there's a pause with the EU, there's a delay, you're just going to see consumers react very, very viscerally to these movements, just as you're seeing in the stock market. So while this was encouraging, I think there's still a question of what's coming, and we're going to get a lot more data this week and in the coming weeks about the job market and inflation, and that will really provide hard data versus consumer confidence is really just how people feel, not necessarily what they will do.
Nice to feel fuzzy sometimes, though. Kelly O'Grady, great to see you. Thanks for the encouraging news.
Of course.
Appreciate it.